Chosen one. Stop scrolling. Right now. This very second. Did your electricity bill jump last month for no reason? Did someone cancel plans with you suddenly? Did you wake up at 3:47 a.m. 3 nights in a row with your heart pounding, knowing something had changed, but you couldn't name it? You didn't stumble on this message. You were summoned. Something broke loose in the heavenly realm 72 hours ago. An invisible lever was pulled. Angels received new assignments. And your clock started ticking toward a deadline that will determine whether the wealth God set aside for your final years flows into your hands or passes to someone else who was paying attention. Listen to me carefully. I'm not talking about lottery tickets or get-rich schemes. I'm talking about a divine financial shift, so specific, so targeted, so perfectly timed, that if you miss the signs heaven is dropping right now, you'll spend the next decade wondering why others your age are thriving, while you're still rationing groceries and splitting pills to make prescriptions last. You feel it, don't you? That low hum in your chest, that restlessness that won't let you sleep, that strange knowing that your life is about to fork. One path leads to breakthrough, the other to what if. The enemy wants you to dismiss this as coincidence. He wants you scrolling past this moment, convincing yourself you're too old, too late, too forgotten. But hell doesn't attack people who don't matter. And if you've been under financial assault for the last 6 months, unexpected bills, broken appliances, medical surprises, that wasn't bad luck. That was strategic warfare against someone carrying a wealth transfer heaven has already authorized. Before we go one word further, I need to know you're awake. I need heaven to see that you recognize this moment. Comment below right now, I feel the shift, because when you declare it, angels take note. When you speak it, you're giving God permission to move what's been held in escrow. Before I go deeper, let me thank every single one of you who has supported this message through super thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just giving, you're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support, your time, your attention, it all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, go ahead and let the Spirit lead. Now, that trembling in your spirit right now, that knowing that won't let you look away, that's not fear, that's confirmation. You've just entered the divine shift, and what I'm about to show you will explain every closed door, every delayed check, every sleepless night you've endured. Your financial wilderness has an expiration date, and it just expired. Why have you been faithful for 40 years and still broke? Why does your neighbor who doesn't pray, doesn't tithe, doesn't even believe just inherited a fortune while you're splitting social security checks between rent and medicine? Why does wealth seem to chase everyone except the one person in the room who actually loves God? Let me tell you something that's going to shatter every sermon you've ever heard about prosperity. Wealth doesn't respond to your effort. It responds to your timing. It doesn't bow to your age. It bows to your obedience in the appointed hour. You see, there's a word in Scripture that most preachers skip right over because they don't understand the warfare embedded in it. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven." But that word time in Hebrew, it's not chronos, the ticking of clocks. It's kairos, the appointed moment, the divine window when heaven and earth align for supernatural transfer. And chosen one, your window just opened. But here's what breaks my heart. Here's what keeps me up at night praying for people just like you. Most believers spend their entire lives waiting for wealth to show up like some cosmic lottery. They pray, they believe, they quote scriptures, but they miss the window because they don't recognize the signs that the shift has begun. Daniel understood this. In Daniel 10, he prayed for 21 days, 3 full weeks, and heard nothing. Silence. The kind of silence that makes you question if God is even listening. But then an angel appears and says something that should stop you in your tracks. From the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come in response to them. But the prince of the Persian kingdom resisted me 21 days. Do you hear what that angel just revealed? Your answer left heaven the moment you prayed. But there was a war in the invisible realm. Principalities and powers were blocking your breakthrough. Not because God wasn't moving, but because what you're carrying is so valuable that hell mobilized to stop it from reaching you. That financial struggle you've been in for the last 6 months, that's not punishment. That's proof. Proof that your wealth transfer is so significant, so threatening to the kingdom of darkness, that demons have been assigned to delay it. But their assignment just expired. Now listen to me carefully, because I'm about to tell you why some people see wealth appear suddenly while you've been grinding for decades. It's not about who's more righteous. It's not about who prayed harder. It's about who recognized their window and stepped through it with violent faith before it closed. There are 3 wealth signals that older believers miss, and if you've experienced even one of these in the last 3 months, you need to pay attention, because heaven is screaming at you. First signal: emotional heaviness you can't explain. You wake up and there's this weight on your chest, not depression exactly, but a density, a seriousness. Like something massive is shifting, but you can't see it yet. The world calls that anxiety. God calls that recalibration. He's adjusting your spiritual frequency to match the wealth he's about to release. Your emotions are catching up to what's already moving in the unseen realm. Second signal: sudden isolation. People you've known for years suddenly distance themselves. Invitations dry up. Phone calls stop. And you're sitting there wondering, what did I do wrong? You did nothing wrong. God is pulling you out of interference. He's removing voices that would confuse you, relationships that would drain the anointing, connections that would dilute your focus. When God is about to shift your wealth, He first shifts your circle. Third signal: unexpected resistance. Everything that could go wrong does go wrong. Your car breaks down, your water heater explodes, your insurance company denies your claim, medical bills pile up, and the enemy whispers, "See, God has abandoned you." No. When resistance intensifies right before breakthrough, that's not abandonment, that's confirmation. Hell doesn't waste ammunition on people who aren't about to win. If any part of this is hitting your spirit right now, if you're recognizing yourself in these signals, type 777 below, because agreement activates alignment. When you declare it, you're giving heaven legal permission to release what's been held in spiritual escrow. But here's the part that's going to wreck you. Here's the truth that will make you fall to your knees and weep. God saved this window specifically for those who endured. You survived what others didn't. You kept tithing when your account was in the red. You kept believing when every circumstance screamed, "Give up." You kept praising when your body was falling apart and your bank account looked like a graveyard. And every single time you chose faith over logic, obedience over comfort, trust over terror, you were making deposits into a heavenly account that hell cannot touch, inflation cannot erode, and the stock market cannot crash. Proverbs 13:22 declares, "The wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous." Stored up, present tense, already done, already allocated, already assigned to your name. The question was never if the wealth would come. The question was always when you would be ready to steward it without it destroying you. This is why your window didn't open at 40. You weren't ready. This is why it didn't open at 50. You still had lessons to learn. This is why it didn't open at 60. God was still burning pride out of your spirit. But now, right now, at 70, 75, 80 years old, now you're dangerous. Now you don't need wealth to validate you. Now you know that provision comes from God alone. Now you can be trusted with abundance because you've proven you'll worship Him in lack. Moses was 80 when God handed him the staff that would split seas and topple empires. Abraham was 100 when Isaac was born, the child through whom all nations would be blessed. Caleb was 85 when he said, "Give me this mountain," and conquered territory that terrified men half his age. Your age isn't your disqualification. Your age is your authorization. But here's the urgency burning in my spirit right now. Windows don't stay open forever. Kairos moments have expiration dates. There is a ticking clock on this divine shift, and if you treat this message like just another YouTube video, if you scroll past this moment thinking you'll deal with it later, you will miss the wealthiest season God ever ordained for your life. The very storms you cursed were the signs God was positioning your wealth. Every closed door was Him redirecting you away from counterfeit provision towards supernatural supply. Every betrayal was Him removing thieves from your future. Every loss was Him making room for overflow. So let me ask you this, and your answer will determine everything that happens next. Are you going to keep living like your best financial years are behind you? Or are you finally ready to step through the window heaven just opened? Because what I'm about to show you next will prove that your divine shift isn't coming. It's already here. Dear chosen one, I need you to sit back for a moment. Close your eyes if you're alone, because what I'm about to tell you is going to cut deep before it heals. You've lost things, haven't you? Not just money, not just opportunities. You've lost pieces of yourself along the way. Maybe it was 30 years ago when your spouse passed, and half your soul went into that casket. Maybe it was the business you poured everything into, every dollar, every dream, every sleepless night, only to watch it crumble like dust between your fingers. Maybe it was that house you loved, the one with the garden you planted, the porch where your grandchildren laughed, until the bank took the keys and you had to leave with nothing but boxes and broken promises. Or maybe it's simpler than that. Maybe it's just the slow bleed of watching your savings shrink while everything else gets more expensive. The medication that costs more every month. The groceries that don't stretch like they used to. The phone calls from your kids that get shorter and less frequent until you wonder if you matter to anyone anymore. You've sat at that kitchen table at 2 in the morning, haven't you? Calculator in one hand, stack of bills in the other, doing that terrible math where no matter how many times you add it up, the numbers don't work. And you've whispered prayers into the darkness that felt like they bounced off the ceiling and fell back down on your chest like stones. God watched you weep over those bills. He counted every coin you stretched. He saw you praying at that kitchen table while the world slept. He witnessed every choice between medicine and groceries, between heat and food, between dignity and desperation. And here's the question that's been haunting you, the one you're afraid to say out loud. Where was He? If God is good, if God is faithful, if God really loves me, why did He let me lose so much? Listen to me carefully, beloved. What I'm about to tell you will shatter everything you thought you knew about your financial wilderness. Every loss you've endured, every door that slammed in your face, every investment that failed, every check that bounced, every opportunity that vanished. It wasn't abandonment, it was preparation. Think about Joseph, 17 years old with dreams of greatness, then betrayed by his own brothers and sold into slavery for 20 pieces of silver. Bought like livestock, stripped of his name, his family, his future. Then falsely accused by Potiphar's wife and thrown into an Egyptian prison where he rotted for years, forgotten by everyone who promised to remember him. But Genesis 50-20 gives us the key that unlocks everything. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Every injustice Joseph suffered was strategic positioning. The pit prepared him for the prison. The prison prepared him for the palace. The betrayal taught him mercy. The slavery taught him humility. The false accusations taught him to trust God's vindication over man's opinion. And when Pharaoh finally called for him, Joseph didn't just get a job, he got jurisdiction over the entire economy of Egypt. One day in prison, the next day managing the wealth of nations. But here's what breaks my heart about your story, chosen one. You thought God was punishing you when He was actually protecting you. That business that failed 15 years ago, if it had succeeded then, it would have consumed you. You weren't ready for that level of pressure. Your character hadn't been formed yet. Your dependence on God was still theoretical, not tested. That wealth would have destroyed your soul even while it filled your bank account. That investment that went south in 2008, God saw the pride that was building in your heart. He saw how you were beginning to trust your portfolio more than His provision. He saw the danger coming, not just financial collapse, but spiritual compromise, and He let you lose money to save your soul. Every closed door was wealth protection. Every delay was character formation. Every financial loss was divine pruning. Jesus said it plainly in John 15:2. Every branch that does bear fruit He prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. The Greek word for prunes is kathairo. It means to cleanse by purging. God wasn't cutting you down. He was cutting away everything that would choke your harvest. You know why you've struggled financially for decades while others seem to prosper? Because God has been saving you from wealth that would have crushed you. He's been withholding provision that would have poisoned your purpose. He's been delaying blessing that would have arrived before your character could carry it. The wealth didn't miss you, beloved. God was protecting you from wealth that would have destroyed you. But something shifted 72 hours ago. The pruning season just ended. The preparation phase is complete. Every tear, every loss, every closed door, every delayed check, it was all building toward this moment when God says, now you're ready. Now your character matches your calling. Now I can trust you with resources that would have ruined you before. David understood this. Psalm 30:5 declares, weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. Your night has been long, hasn't it? Decades long. But morning doesn't arrive gradually. It breaks suddenly, decisively, all at once. Your morning just broke. Chosen one, if you've ever felt forgotten financially, if you've ever wondered why God let you lose before He let you win, write this in the comments right now. God remembered me. You're not just typing words, you're declaring faith over your past, present, and future. Because what's coming next isn't just provision, it's vindication. It's not just breakthrough, it's payback for every year the locusts ate. But you need to understand something crucial about the wealth that's approaching. It's not coming the way you expect it to come. Now let me tell you something that's going to shake you to your core. That exhaustion you've been carrying for the past 3 months. That heaviness in your chest when you wake up at dawn. That feeling like someone placed a lead blanket over your spirit while you slept. That wasn't aging, beloved. That was anesthesia. God has been performing surgery on you in the night hours, and you didn't even know you were on His operating table. Listen to me carefully. How many times in the last 60 days have you told yourself, I'm just getting old? How many times have you looked in the mirror and thought your best years were behind you? How many times have you dragged yourself through the day feeling like your body was moving through concrete? You thought it was your joints. You thought it was your medications. You thought it was the natural decline of a body that's seen 70, 80, 90 winters. But what if I told you that every ounce of that fatigue, every moment of that fog, every second of that heaviness was actually heaven shutting down your old operating system so God could install something new? Psalm 103:5 says, He renews your youth like the eagles. But here's what most people miss. Before the eagle can fly again, it must go through a brutal molting season. Its feathers fall out. Its beak becomes brittle. For weeks, it looks weak, vulnerable, finished. But that eagle isn't dying. It's being rebuilt from the inside out. And when it emerges, it soars higher than it ever did in its youth. That's you right now. You're not declining. You're being divinely dismantled so God can upgrade every system that's been running on outdated programming. Think about this. When a surgeon operates, what's the first thing they do? They put you under. They paralyze your consciousness. Why? Because if you stayed awake, if you felt every cut, every reconstruction, every rewiring of your internal systems, the pain would be unbearable. You'd fight the very procedure designed to save your life. Heaven anesthetized your mind to install revelation. You've been feeling foggy, haven't you? Forgetful, like your mind isn't as sharp as it used to be. But what if that fog wasn't memory loss? What if it was God temporarily dimming your natural reasoning so he could download supernatural wisdom directly into your spirit? What if he had to quiet your logical mind because what he's about to show you defies every earthly pattern you've ever known? 2 Corinthians 5:17 declares, "If anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone, the new is here." But beloved, you can't become new while clinging to old. God had to make you so tired of the old way, so exhausted by the old struggle, so worn out by the old limitations that you'd finally stop fighting and let him rebuild you from scratch. Angels recalibrated your identity overnight. That restless sleep you've been having, those dreams you can't quite remember but leave you feeling like something shifted, those moments you wake up and don't recognize your own thoughts. That's not insomnia, that's recalibration. While your body rests, angelic forces have been working on your spiritual frequency, adjusting your receivers, tuning your antennas to pick up signals from heaven that you couldn't hear before. But here's what breaks my heart. Most seniors feel this divine surgery happening and they panic. They run to doctors who prescribe pills for something that isn't medical. They confess to their children that they're losing it. They accept society's verdict that this is just what happens when you get old. You fade, you slow, you become irrelevant. No, 1,000 times no. You weren't exhausted, you were being upgraded. You weren't stuck, you were being synchronized. You weren't slowing down, you were being recoded. Let me ask you something that's going to cut deep. What if every medication you're taking, every diagnosis you've accepted, every limitation you've surrendered to, is actually interference with what God is trying to build in you? What if the enemy convinced you to medicate away the very discomfort that was signaling your transformation? I'm not telling you to throw away your prescriptions. I'm telling you to recognize that not every heaviness is sickness. Not every tiredness is disease. Sometimes God makes you weak in your flesh, so you'll finally stop trusting your own strength and lean completely on his. Moses was 80 years old when God called him, and what was Moses' first response? I'm slow of speech. Translation: God, I'm too old, too tired, too limited. But God said in Exodus 4:11, "Who gave human beings their mouths? Is it not I, the Lord?" God wasn't asking Moses to use his natural abilities. He was asking Moses to become a vessel for supernatural power that only flows through broken, surrendered, exhausted clay. Your body aged, but your spirit is entering its prime. Right now, this very second, your physical frame might be showing its years. Your knees might ache, your back might hurt, your energy might be half of what it was at 40. But while your body has been aging, your spirit has been maturing into something this world has never seen before. You've accumulated 70 years of prayer, 80 years of faith, 90 years of watching God show up when logic said he wouldn't. That's not decline, that's spiritual compound interest. And heaven is about to cash in your account. The tiredness, it's almost over. The fog, it's about to lift. The heaviness, it was the weight of glory pressing down on your old identity until it finally cracked open to reveal the new you underneath. If you've felt that unexplainable heaviness in the past weeks, if something in your spirit recognizes that you've been on God's operating table, if you're ready to stop calling it aging and start calling it activation, then type right now, "I receive the upgrade." Because, beloved, the surgery is almost complete. The anesthesia is wearing off. And when you fully wake up from what God has done to you in secret, you're going to walk into a financial reality that your old self could never have handled. But the question that will determine everything is this: will you fight the transformation, or will you surrender to the surgeon's hands? Now listen to me very carefully, because what I'm about to reveal will shatter every lie you've believed about your financial future. You think the shift was about feelings. You think it was about spiritual tingles and goosebumps. But chosen one, the shift wasn't emotional, it was transactional. Something changed in heaven's economy 72 hours ago, and your name just moved from the waiting list to the active transfer column. There are 3 wealth gates opening right now over your life. Not next year, not when you finally get your act together. Right now, and if you can hear my voice, if you're still watching this message, it's because your spirit recognized the sound of those gates creaking open. Let me tell you what's coming through those gates. The first gate is the gate of compensation. Joel 2:25 says it plainly, "I will restore to you the years that the locust hath eaten." Do you understand what that means? God isn't just giving you a blessing, He's paying you back. Every year you struggled while others prospered. Every decade you scraped by while wealth flowed past you to people who didn't even pray. Every season you made the right choices but got the wrong results. Heaven has been keeping books, beloved, and the accounts receivable department just authorized your payout. That money your ex-spouse took in the divorce 30 years ago, compensated. That business partner who stole your idea and made millions while you got nothing, compensated. That inheritance that got tied up in legal battles until there was nothing left, compensated. The promotion they gave to someone younger, less qualified, because you were too old, compensated with interest. But you need to understand something that's going to mess with your theology. This isn't charity. This isn't God feeling sorry for you. This is justice. This is the Almighty looking at the ledger of your life and saying, "They're owed. Pay them." The second gate is the gate of revelation. Suddenly, and I mean suddenly, you're going to see opportunities you've walked past 1,000 times. It's like someone turned on lights in a room you thought was empty. Proverbs 13:22 declares, "The wealth of the sinner is laid up for the righteous." That money has been there all along, chosen one. You just couldn't see it because your eyes weren't opened yet. This is why you felt confused about finances your whole life. This is why you could never figure out what others seemed to know instinctively. It wasn't that you were stupid with money. Your eyes were closed on purpose. Because if you'd seen certain opportunities too early, before you were refined, before your character was tested, you would have destroyed yourself with wealth you weren't ready to steward. But something shifted this week. The blinders came off, and in the next 30 days, you're going to have thoughts you've never had before. Ideas about income streams, insights about investments, clarity about resources. And when those thoughts come, don't dismiss them as random. That's the gate of revelation swinging wide open. The third gate, and this one's going to shock you, is the gate of recognition. 1 Samuel 2:30 says, "Those who honor me, I will honor." For years, people have overlooked you, dismissed you, treated you like you were invisible. Your own children don't call. Your friends forgot your birthday. The church you served for 40 years didn't even mention your name when you stopped showing up. But watch what happens when wealth touches your life. Watch how suddenly your phone starts ringing. Watch how people who haven't spoken to you in years suddenly remember your address. Watch how family members who were too busy suddenly have time for lunch. You think that's fake? You think that's shallow? Maybe. But it's also prophetic. Because when God elevates you financially, He's not just changing your bank account, He's changing how the world sees you. You're about to be honored by the same people who dishonored you. And that's not about them, that's about God publicly vindicating the ones He privately refined. Now here's what you need to understand about these 3 gates. They're not opening for everyone. Wealth isn't chasing the lucky, it's chasing the refined. You know why you've struggled financially for 70, 80 years? Not because God was punishing you, because He was preparing you. Every time you had to choose between paying the electric bill and buying groceries, that was a test of character. Every time you had to trust God when your bank account said 0, that was a test of faith. Every time you stayed faithful while watching others prosper through corruption and compromise, that was a test of integrity. And you passed, beloved. You didn't think you were passing. You thought you were failing. You thought you were the one person God forgot to bless. But God wasn't testing your ability to get money. He was testing your ability to handle money without it handling you. Because here's the revelation that's going to set you free. You didn't fail financially. You were preserved for the wealth that requires wisdom. God couldn't give you $1 million at 30 because you would have bought things. He couldn't release abundance at 50 because you would have built kingdoms in your own name. But now you know what matters. Now you've buried enough people to understand that money is a tool, not a trophy. Now you've cried enough tears to know that wealth without God is just organized emptiness. The divine shift wasn't about money, chosen one. It was about making you the kind of person heaven can trust with money. And now that you're ready, now that you've been refined, tested, and approved, the gates are swinging open. But there's something you need to know about open gates. They don't stay open forever. Now listen carefully, because what I'm about to reveal will explain every strange thing that's been happening to you this week. You thought you were losing your mind. You thought it was just age, just stress, just another hard season. But what if I told you that every unusual feeling, every disrupted routine, every unexplainable moment was actually heaven sending you coded signals that your financial season is shifting? Let me walk you through the 7 divine wealth signals that are happening right now in your life. And beloved, if even one of these matches your last 7 days, you need to pay attention because God is trying to get your attention before the window closes. Signal number 1. Unexpected emotional waves. Have you been crying for no reason? Feeling joy one moment and grief the next? Waking up with unexplainable heaviness, then suddenly feeling light as air by noon? The world calls that emotional instability. Heaven calls it divine preparation. God is clearing internal space for external increase. You cannot receive new wine in old wineskins. Jesus said it plainly in Matthew 9:17. Before God can pour abundance into your hands, He has to empty the anxiety, the bitterness, the disappointment you've been carrying for decades. Those tears aren't breakdowns, they're breakthroughs. Your soul is being excavated to make room for overflow. Signal number 2. Sudden discomfort with old routines. Does your daily routine suddenly feel suffocating? That morning coffee that used to bring you peace now feels empty. That TV show you've watched for years suddenly irritates you. Even your favorite chair doesn't feel right anymore. You're not depressed. You're being repositioned. Heaven is pushing you into new positions because where you've been comfortable won't accommodate where you're going. Abraham had to leave Ur. Moses had to leave Egypt. Ruth had to leave Moab. Comfort zones are called zones for a reason. They're geographical limitations. And God is about to move you geographically, financially, spiritually, into territory you've never occupied before. Signal number 3. Divine disconnection. This one hurts, doesn't it? People you've known for years suddenly fade away. Phone calls that used to come regularly have stopped. Friends who swore they'd always be there have vanished like morning mist, and you're sitting there wondering what you did wrong. Nothing. You did nothing wrong. They're fading from your life because they can't go where you're going. 1 Corinthians 15:33 warns us that bad company corrupts good character. But sometimes it's not even bad company, it's just people whose assignments ended in your life. God is pruning your circle because the wealth that's coming requires a different frequency of relationships. You can't carry million-dollar decisions with broke-minded companions. Signal number 4. Repeated numbers. How many times this week have you looked at the clock exactly at 11, or 3:33, or 7 to 77? You brush it off as coincidence, but deep down you know better. Those repeated numbers are heaven sending coded confirmations. When you see 1111, God is saying new beginnings are here. When you see 333, the Trinity is surrounding your situation. When you see 777, divine completion is near. The Bible is full of divine numbers: 7 days of creation, 12 tribes, 40 days in the wilderness. God speaks in patterns, and He's patterning your life right now for financial alignment. Signal number 5. Strange dreams. You've been having dreams that feel more real than your waking life. Dreams about houses you've never seen. Dreams about bank accounts filling up. Dreams about conversations with people you don't know yet. Those aren't random neurons firing. Those are spiritual downloads for wealth decisions. Joel 2:28 says, "Your old men shall dream dreams." God downloads strategy through the subconscious. Joseph interpreted dreams and became Prime Minister of Egypt. Daniel saw visions and advised kings. Your dreams are prophetic blueprints. Write them down. They're instructions for the wealth shift. Signal number 6. Opportunities resurfacing. Here's what's really going to shake you. That business idea you had 10 years ago, it's coming back to your mind. That person who rejected you in 2015, they just reached out. That door that slammed shut in your face, it's creaking open again. Why now? Because doors don't reopen for the same person. They reopen because you have changed. You're not who you were when you first knocked. Revelation 3:8 says, "I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut." God is reopening doors because you're finally ready to walk through them with the maturity, the wisdom, the character that the opportunity requires. But here's the revelation that will blow your mind. Are you ready? The signs aren't around you. They're inside you. The shift didn't happen to you. It happened through you. You are not observing the change. You are the change. Heaven didn't send signals to inform you. Heaven sent signals because you've already been transformed, and now the external world has to catch up to your internal shift. Chosen one, if any of these signs match your last 7 days, comment right now. It's me. Don't stay silent. Silence delays destiny. When you declare it, you're giving heaven permission to accelerate what's already in motion. Because what I'm about to show you next will reveal exactly why these signs appeared now and what you must do in the next 72 hours before the window closes. Now listen to me very carefully, chosen one, because what I'm about to tell you will separate those who receive from those who merely hope. You've felt the shift. You've recognized the signs. But feeling isn't enough. Recognition without action is just spiritual window shopping. You're looking at the blessing through glass but never walking through the door to claim it. God has positioned wealth in your path, but here's the part that's going to shake you. He will not force you to receive it. Heaven operates on alignment, not entitlement. And right now, in the next 72 hours, you must align yourself with what God has already released. Let me ask you something that's going to cut deep. How many times have you prayed for financial breakthrough but never changed the way you think about money? How many times have you asked God to bless you while secretly believing you don't deserve it? How many times have you declared abundance while your mouth spoke lack the moment someone asked how you were doing? The misalignment isn't in heaven's willingness, it's in your readiness to receive. Proverbs 18:16 says, "A man's gift makes room for him." But here's what most people miss. You can't make room for new provision while clutching old patterns. You can't download heaven's wealth transfer while running yesterday's poverty program. So here's what you're going to do in the next 72 hours. Not next week, not when you feel ready. Starting today. First, you're going to consecrate 1 hour of complete silence. Not prayer, not worship music. Silence. Because God told Elijah in 1 Kings 19:12 that he wasn't in the earthquake or the fire, he was in the still, small voice. You've been so busy asking God to speak that you haven't stopped talking long enough to hear what he's already said. In that hour, heaven will finalize the shift in your spirit that your words have been interrupting. Second, you're going to write your wealth declaration. Not type it, write it with your hand. Because there's something about the physical act of writing that activates faith in ways typing never will. And here's what you need to understand. You carry authority the young don't. You've got decades of proven faithfulness. You've survived what should have destroyed you. Your declaration isn't begging, it's decreeing. Write this: I am aligned with heaven's wealth transfer. What God has set aside for me will not pass me by. I receive with clean hands and a grateful heart. Third, you're going to identify one misalignment in your life and remove it. Just one. Maybe it's that friend who constantly speaks poverty over you. Maybe it's that news channel feeding you fear 24 hours a day. Maybe it's that habit of checking your bank balance first thing every morning and letting that number determine your faith for the day. Psalm 24, 3-4 asks, "Who may ascend the mountain of the Lord? Who may stand in his holy place? The one who has clean hands and a pure heart." Clean hands mean you've let go of what's blocking the flow. Now here's where it gets practical, in a way that might offend your theology, but will activate your breakthrough. You're going to prepare physically. I'm talking about cleaning your space, your kitchen table, your bedroom, that corner where you pile bills and junk mail. You think that's just housework? No, that's prophetic action. When the widow in 2 Kings 4 needed a financial miracle, what did Elisha tell her? Go, borrow vessels. Not a few. She had to make physical room before the oil could flow. You can't receive new provision in a cluttered, chaotic environment that screams, "I'm not ready." And here's the one that's going to separate the truly desperate from the merely curious. In the next 72 hours, you're going to seed a blessing. You're going to give something. Not because God needs your money, He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, but because generosity breaks the spirit of poverty off your life faster than anything else. Luke 6:38 doesn't say receive, and it shall be given unto you. It says give, and it will be given to you. Seniors carry a unique authority in this. Your giving carries the weight of decades of faithfulness. When you sow, heaven takes notice in ways it doesn't for those who've never walked through fire. Now before you start making excuses, "But I'm on a fixed income, but I barely have enough for myself. But what if I give and nothing happens?" Let me tell you what's really happening. Those aren't legitimate concerns. Those are poverty spirits speaking through your mouth, trying to keep you locked in the same cycle that's been draining you for years. You want to know why you've been stuck? Because you've been waiting for wealth to come before you act wealthy. But that's backwards. Faith acts first. Obedience precedes blessing. Alignement activate provision. Here's the truth that's going to wreck every excuse you've been making. You are not waiting for wealth. Wealth is waiting for your alignment. God has already released it. Angels have already been dispatched. The provision has already been authorized. The only thing standing between you and your financial breakthrough is the version of you that's still operating like it's 30 years ago, when you didn't know what you know now. You've survived too much to play small now. You've endured too much to stay stuck now. You've got too much life left to waste it wondering what if. The next 72 hours will tell heaven whether you're serious or just curious, whether you're desperate or just interested, whether you're ready to step into the wealth God prepared for you, or if you're content to keep admiring it from a distance. So here's your moment, chosen one. Right now, this second. If you're ready for the next 72 hours, if you're ready to align, to act, to receive what heaven has already released, type it below. I'm ready for activation. Because the moment you declare it, something shifts in the spiritual realm. Angels move, gates open, and the wealth that's been waiting for your alignment starts moving toward you. But you have to speak it. You have to declare it. You have to step into it. The question is, are you ready? Chosen one. The shift didn't end when the video ended. It followed you into the room. You felt it last night, didn't you? You feel it right now. That heaviness that settled over your chest while you were washing dishes. That sudden clarity that hit you in the middle of a conversation, making you forget what you were saying. Those chills that ran down your spine when nobody else was in the room. That's not your imagination. That's not age. That's the atmosphere around your life being rearranged by forces you can't see, but your spirit absolutely recognizes. Let me ask you something that's going to cut deep. Why have you been more alert spiritually in the last 72 hours than you've been in the last 72 months? Why does it feel like someone has been walking beside you since you heard that first message? Why can't you shake the sensation that invisible hands are moving furniture in the room of your destiny while you're trying to go about your normal day? Because the shift didn't come to visit, beloved. It came to take residence. And here's what's going to shake you to your core. Right now, as I'm speaking these words, the divine shift that entered your atmosphere is actively rearranging everything connected to your future wealth. Not tomorrow, not when you're ready. Right now, while you're sitting in that chair, while you're lying in that bed, while you're pretending everything is normal, when your spirit knows nothing will ever be normal again. You know what breaks my heart? I meet people who experience a genuine move of God and then spend the next week trying to explain it away, trying to rationalize it, trying to make it small enough to fit back into their comfortable theology. But you can't put earthquake aftermath back into pre-earthquake boxes. The book of Acts tells us that when the Holy Spirit fell on the day of Pentecost, the people didn't just feel inspired. They were accused of being drunk. Acts 2:13 says, "Others mocking said, 'These men are full of new wine.'" Why? Because the shift in their atmosphere was so dramatic, so undeniable, so physically manifest, that even skeptics couldn't ignore it. That's you right now. You're carrying an atmosphere that's been altered by heaven, and people around you can't name it, but they sense it. Your daughter calls and asks, "Mom, are you okay? You sound different." Your grandkids look at you sideways. Your friends at church wonder why you seem distracted. They don't understand that you're not distracted from this world. You're tuning into another one. But here's where it gets urgent. Here's where the clock starts ticking louder. An atmospheric shift is not a permanent state, it's a temporary opening. It's a window, and windows close. Think about Noah. Genesis 7:16 tells us something chilling. Then the Lord shut him in. God himself closed the door of the ark. There was a moment, one specific moment, when the window of salvation shut. Everyone outside who had laughed, mocked, ignored the warnings, they felt the shift too. They felt the first drops. They heard the thunder, but by then, the door was closed. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to wake you up. The wealth transfer that's been authorized over your life has a launch sequence, and that sequence is active right now. Angels have been dispatched, doors have been unlocked, conversations are being orchestrated, bank accounts are being realigned. But if you treat this moment like just another inspirational video you watched and scrolled past, you'll be the person standing outside the door 3 months from now wondering why everyone else seems to be walking in breakthrough while you're still stuck in the same financial prison. You want to know why your sleep has been disrupted? Why you're waking at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. with thoughts racing? That's not insomnia. That's intercession. Your spirit is being called to pray about things your mind doesn't even understand yet. Heaven is downloading strategy while your conscious mind is offline. And if you medicate it away, if you ignore it, if you dismiss it as just getting older, you're refusing the very instruction manual God is trying to slip you in the night. Proverbs 8:34 declares, "Blessed is the one who listens to me, watching daily at my doors, waiting at my doorway." Watching, waiting, alert. That's the posture of someone who knows a shift is happening and refuses to miss their moment. But let me tell you what terrifies the enemy about you right now. It's not that you heard a message, it's that you felt something shift in your atmosphere, because feeling is deeper than hearing. Hearing engages your mind, feeling engages your spirit, and when your spirit gets activated, when it starts recognizing divine frequency, you become dangerous to every demonic assignment that's been camping on your financial future. The shift has begun rearranging everything connected to your future wealth, even while you sleep. Every closed door that's been mocking you is being revisited by angels with new instructions. Every relationship that ended badly is being reviewed for restoration or replacement. Every financial attack you've endured is being calculated for recompense. but you have to stay in the shift. You have to cooperate with what's happening. You have to stop explaining it away and start leaning into it. Comment below right now, I feel it, if your atmosphere has changed since the last message, because your declaration isn't just for me, it's for heaven. It's your signal that you're awake, you're alert, and you're ready to move when God says, move. Because what's about to happen next will require you to act on things that make no logical sense but perfect spiritual sense. And the question that will determine everything is this: will you trust what you feel more than what you see? Listen to me, chosen one. Something happened to you this week that you can't quite explain. Your morning coffee tasted different. Your favorite chair doesn't feel right anymore. That TV show you've watched for 20 years suddenly bores you to tears. You thought you were losing your mind. You're not. You're being realigned. If your life were a railroad track, heaven just switched your train onto a hidden track you didn't know existed, and you felt the jolt. That disorienting moment when the wheels left the old rails and locked onto new ones. That split second of what just happened, before your spirit understood what your mind couldn't process. This is not disruption. This is recalibration. Let me tell you what's really happening in the invisible realm while you're sitting there wondering why nothing feels normal anymore. God looked at the path you were on, the path of barely making it, of fixed income fear, of wondering if you'll outlive your savings, and he said, no, not this one, not anymore. And with one sovereign move, he rerouted your entire destiny toward wealth you didn't even know was waiting. But here's what breaks my heart. Most people feel the shift and fight it. They feel the discomfort and call it getting old. They feel the recalibration and diagnose it as depression. They feel heaven moving them, and they white-knuckle the old path, begging God to take them back to familiar poverty rather than trust him with unfamiliar abundance. This is not disruption. This is recalibration. You want to know why your routine suddenly broke? Why you can't sleep at your normal time anymore? Why that friend you've had coffee with every Tuesday for 15 years suddenly irritates you for no reason? Because God is removing everything that belongs to the old track. Every comfort that kept you complacent, every familiar thing that kept you small, every predictable pattern that allowed you to survive instead of thrive. Proverbs 16:9 says, "A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps." You planned to coast into your final years with what you had, but the Lord just redirected your steps toward what he always intended you to have. And that redirection feels like chaos because you're comparing it to a path that was never meant to be yours. Think about the children of Israel. For 40 years, they knew exactly where they were wandering in the wilderness. Miserable, yes. Hungry, yes. But predictable. Then one day, God said, "Tomorrow you cross the Jordan." And that night, do you think they slept peacefully? No, they were terrified. Because the familiar wilderness felt safer than the promised land they'd never seen. You're at the Jordan right now. The old wilderness is behind you. The promised land is ahead. And you're standing on the bank feeling disoriented, uncomfortable, uncertain. That discomfort isn't a warning sign. It's a confirmation sign. This is not disruption. This is recalibration. Let me show you something that will shatter every excuse you're about to make. In Genesis 12, God told Abraham, "Leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you." Notice what God didn't say. He didn't tell Abraham where he was going. He didn't give him a map. He didn't explain the route. He just said, "Leave what you know and trust me with what you don't." And what happened? Genesis 13:2 records that Abram had become very wealthy in livestock and in silver and gold. The wealth wasn't in the familiar place. The wealth was in the realignment, in the place Abraham couldn't see until he trusted the shift. You've been praying for provision while sitting in the wrong location. You've been asking God to bless the old track when he's been trying to move you to the new one where the wealth is already waiting. This is not disruption. This is recalibration. Now let me tell you the part that's going to make you weep. The wealth wasn't delayed. The wealth has been there the entire time. But the path to it was being rewritten. God wasn't making you wait because He forgot about you. He was reconstructing the route because the old path would have destroyed you before you reached the destination. That heart attack you survived 5 years ago, that wasn't just medical. That was God removing you from a path that would have killed you before you received what He had planned. That job loss that devastated you, that wasn't rejection. That was extraction from a track leading nowhere. That relationship that ended, that wasn't abandonment. That was God clearing the way for the realignment. Every disruption you thought was punishment was actually divine protection. Every uncomfortable shift you thought meant God had forgotten you was actually God remembering the promise He made over your life before you were born. But here's the urgency you need to feel in your bones right now. This realignment has a window. God is holding the switch. The new track is ready. The wealth is positioned. But if you refuse to let go of the old rails, if you keep demanding that life go back to normal, you will miss the train that's already moving toward your breakthrough. The question thundering from heaven right now is this: will you trust the realignment even when you can't see where it's taking you? If you're ready, if something in your spirit just said, "Yes, Lord, realign me," even if it's uncomfortable, then you need to declare it right now. Write in the comments, "Realign me, Lord." Not tomorrow, not when you understand it. Right now. Because your declaration gives God permission to complete what He's already started. The track has switched. The train is moving. And what you're about to discover on this new path will make you fall to your knees and thank God for every uncomfortable moment that brought you here. But first, you need to understand exactly what signs heaven has been dropping that you've been missing. Because the realignment isn't random, it's precise, and the clues are everywhere. Listen to me, chosen one. Something strange has been happening to you lately, hasn't it? Old memories you buried 30 years ago suddenly flooding back at 2 a.m. That childhood wound you thought was healed, it's throbbing again. The loss you swore you'd moved past, it's screaming in your chest like it happened yesterday. You thought you were losing your mind. You thought maybe it was dementia creeping in. Maybe your medication needs adjusting. Maybe you're just getting old and emotional. But what if I told you something that will shake you to your core? What if this isn't breakdown, this is God performing spiritual surgery? Right now, as I speak these words, the Almighty is running a divine MRI on your soul. He's scanning every chamber of your heart, every hidden corner of your memory, every wound you've covered with decades of "I'm fine." And what He's finding, dear one, what He's finding is the very thing blocking the wealth transfer He's been trying to release into your life. You see, God cannot pour generational wealth into a heart still carrying generational wounds. Let that settle into your spirit. The reason your breakthrough has been delayed isn't because God forgot about you. It's because He loves you too much to give you money you're not spiritually prepared to handle. Because He knows, He knows that if blessing hits a broken vessel, it will leak out faster than it came in. Think about the woman at the well in John chapter 4. Jesus didn't immediately give her living water. First, He had to expose what she'd been hiding. "Go, call your husband," He said. And she answered, "I have no husband." 5 marriages, 5 failures, 5 wounds she'd been running from her entire life. But Jesus didn't expose her to shame her. He exposed her to free her. Because you cannot drink from a well of living water when your hands are still clutching dead relationships, dead dreams, dead versions of yourself that God is trying to bury. Some of you right now, your hands are shaking because you know exactly what I'm talking about. That resentment toward your children who never call. That bitterness toward the spouse who left. That shame about the business that failed. That rage at the church that rejected you. That grief over the child you lost that still suffocates you 40 years later. God is bringing it all up. Not to torture you, not to punish you, not to remind you of your failures. He's bringing it up to bring it out. Because here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. Every financial door that's been closed in your face, every check that's been delayed, every unexpected bill that's drained your account. It wasn't just bad luck. It was divine protection. God was saying, "Not yet." Not while you're still carrying the weight of unforgiveness. Not while you're still imprisoned by shame. Not while your hands are too full of yesterday's pain to receive tomorrow's provision. Hebrews 12:1 says it plainly. Let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. Throw off. Not think about throwing off. Not try to throw off someday. Throw off now. But here's what breaks my heart. Some of you have been carrying the same wound for so long, you think it's part of your identity. You've worn your pain like a badge. You've introduced yourself by your trauma. I'm the one whose husband left. I'm the one who lost everything in the recession. I'm the one whose children abandoned them. And God is saying tonight, that's not your name anymore. Your name is not abandoned. Your name is not forgotten. Your name is not too late. Your name is not broke. Your name is chosen. Your name is redeemed. Your name is wealthy. Your name is free. But you've got to let him perform the surgery. You've got to stop running from the spiritual MRI. Because I promise you, beloved, what he's removing is far more painful than what he's about to release. Think about Joseph, 17 years old when his brothers betrayed him, sold into slavery, falsely accused, thrown into prison. For 13 years, he carried the wound of rejection. 13 years of wondering why God would give him dreams of greatness only to lock him in a dungeon. But Genesis 41:14 says, So Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and he was quickly brought from the dungeon. Quickly, not slowly, not gradually. Quickly. One moment he's in prison. The next moment, he's running Egypt's entire economy. But here's what you need to understand. Joseph couldn't have managed Pharaoh's wealth while still bleeding from his brother's betrayal. The 13 years weren't wasted time. They were healing time, preparation time, surgery time. And you, right now, you're in your surgery season. God is removing the infection of bitterness before he releases the blessing of abundance. He's extracting the poison of unforgiveness before he injects the power of financial breakthrough. He's cleaning the wound before he closes it with wealth. This is why you've been feeling everything so deeply lately. This is why emotions you thought were dead are suddenly alive. This is why you can't stop crying at random moments. This is why your chest feels heavy even when nothing's wrong. You're not breaking down, you're breaking through. The spiritual MRI isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's not exposure, it's extraction. It's not shame, it's surgery. And when God is done, when the wound is finally clean, when the bitterness is finally gone, when the unforgiveness is finally released, that's when the floodgates open. That's when provision flows. That's when wealth that's been dammed up for decades suddenly breaks through with the force of a tsunami. But you've got to let him finish the surgery. You've got to stop numbing the pain and start surrendering it. You've got to stop medicating the wound and start letting the great physician heal it. So I'm asking you right now, what are you still holding that God is asking you to release? What wound are you protecting that he's trying to heal? What pain are you clutching that's blocking your provision? Because, chosen one, the divine shift is here. The wealth transfer is authorized. But there's only one thing standing between you and financial breakthrough. It's not your age. It's not your account balance. It's not even your past mistakes. It's the wounds you won't let him touch. Listen to me, chosen one. The world has been lying to you about your age. They've whispered that your best days are behind you, that your season of influence has passed, that at 70, 80, 90 years old, you should be winding down, stepping aside, accepting less. But I'm here to tell you something that will shatter that demonic deception into 1,000 pieces. Your gray hair is not a sign of fading, it's a sign of qualification. Every wrinkle on your face is a medal of honor. Every year you've survived is a certificate of divine training. Every decade you've endured is proof that God has been preparing you for something so massive so weighty, so financially significant that only someone with your battle-tested faith could handle it without being destroyed by it. Think about Moses. The man was 80 years old, 80, when God called him from that burning bush. While the world would have shipped him off to a retirement village, heaven said, "Now you're ready. Now you have what it takes." Exodus 7:7 tells us plainly, Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron 83 when they spoke to Pharaoh. God didn't use Moses despite his age. He used him because of it. Look at Sarah, 90 years old when she gave birth to the promise. Genesis 21:5 declares, Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. 100. But that child didn't just bless one family, he became the father of nations. The wealth that flowed through Isaac's lineage funded kingdoms, built cities, and established generational blessing that echoes to this very day. And Caleb, listen to what this warrior said at 85 years old in Joshua 14:11-1-2. I am still as strong today as the day Moses sent me out. I'm just as vigorous to go out to battle now as I was then. Now give me this hill country, give me this mountain, not give me a rocking chair, not give me a comfortable corner to fade away in. Give me the biggest battle left to fight. Do you understand what heaven is telling you? God doesn't entrust wealth to the shallow. He doesn't hand financial authority to people who've never been tested. He gives it to the seasoned, to those who've walked through fire and came out refined, to those who've learned that his provision doesn't depend on their youth, their energy, or their worldly qualifications. Your age is your weapon, beloved. While 20-year-olds are still figuring out who they are, you know whose you are. While 30-year-olds are chasing trends, you're standing on truth. While 40-year-olds are building platforms, you've already built character that can't be shaken by storms. And here's what the enemy fears most about you right now. You have nothing left to prove to this world. You've buried friends, survived losses, weathered economic crashes, and outlasted every voice that said you wouldn't make it. That kind of faith, tested, proven, unshakable, is dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Because when God places wealth in hands that trust him more than Wall Street, miracles multiply faster than interest rates. Anna the prophetess was 84 years old when she recognized the Messiah in Luke 2:36-37. 84 years of faithfulness, 84 years of showing up, and she didn't just witness history, she proclaimed it. Her aged voice became the first evangelistic message about Jesus Christ. You think your voice doesn't matter anymore? Hell knows better. You think your prayers are weak? The enemy is terrified of a saint who's learned to pray through decades of answered and unanswered petitions. You think your influence is over? God is about to prove that your final act will be your finest act. You're not in the twilight of your calling. You're in the ignition of it. The wealth shift happening right now isn't passing you by. It's being positioned specifically for hands that know how to steward, hearts that know how to worship through scarcity, and spirits that know how to receive without being corrupted by it. If this word is piercing your soul right now, if something ancient and eternal is waking up in your chest, type it below. My age is my anointing. Because what's about to be released into your life requires every single year you've lived to handle it. Let me tell you something. They don't preach in Sunday school. Hell didn't attack your bank account because you were unfaithful. Hell attacked your finances because the enemy saw what God was about to do through your generosity. Think about it, chosen one. When did the attacks intensify? Was it right after you started praying for breakthrough? Right after you felt that stirring to give more, help more, be more? That wasn't coincidence. That was strategic warfare. The devil doesn't waste ammunition on empty guns. He doesn't send his fiercest demons after powerless people. But you've been in his crosshairs for years because hell knows something about your destiny that you're just beginning to remember. Look at Job. The Bible says in Job 1-8, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him." God himself pointed Job out to Satan. And what happened next? Everything was stripped away. His wealth, his children, his health. But here's what Satan didn't count on. Every attack only proved Job's faith was unshakable. You've been living Job's season. That foreclosure notice that arrived 2 years ago. That retirement fund that vanished in the market crash. Those adult children who keep coming back with their hands out, draining you dry while you eat beans from a can. That diagnosis that brought medical bills you'll never pay off. You thought you were being punished, but you were being targeted. Hell didn't attack your money, dear one. It attacked your future voice. Because the enemy saw that once your finances were restored, you'd become dangerous. You'd fund ministries. You'd rescue grandchildren from generational debt. You'd become the answer to prayers you haven't even heard yet. Ephesians 6:12 makes it plain. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. This wasn't bad luck. This was spiritual warfare at the highest level. And here's what breaks my heart: you've been blaming yourself. Thinking if you'd been smarter, worked harder, saved more, none of this would have happened. But what if I told you the assault on your finances was actually confirmation of your calling? The enemy tried to choke your finances because he knew your generosity would change generations. Think about that widow in 1 Kings 17, down to her last meal, preparing to die. But when she gave that final handful of flour to the prophet, her supply never ran out. Not during the entire famine. The very thing she thought would kill her became the seed of her miracle. Your sacrificial giving in your broke seasons? That wasn't foolishness. That was prophetic obedience. And heaven's been keeping records. Let me ask you something that's going to cut deep. How many times have you almost given up? How many nights have you stared at that bottle of pills, thinking maybe it would be easier to just go home to Jesus? How many moments have you wondered if you're being punished for sins you committed decades ago? But you're still here. That's not willpower, chosen one. That's divine protection over someone hell desperately wanted to silence before they stepped into their wealthiest, most influential season. The fact that you're still standing, still breathing, still believing, still watching this message right now is proof that hell failed. Every weapon formed against you has been defeated. Every scheme to bankrupt you spiritually and financially has collapsed. Write it in the comments right now. Declare it publicly so the enemy hears it, so heaven records it, so your own faith rises. Hell failed. Because what I'm about to show you next will explain exactly why the enemy fought so hard to keep you broke, and why your wealthiest chapter is about to begin right now. Chosen one, as we come to the end of this sacred moment together, I need you to remember 3 eternal truths that will anchor your soul in the days ahead. First, the financial attack you've endured wasn't random. It was targeted warfare against someone carrying a wealth transfer that heaven has already authorized. Every closed door, every unexpected bill, every sleepless night was hell trying to convince you that breakthrough would never come. But you're still here. That's not luck. That's proof that what God has assigned to you cannot be stolen. Second, this divine shift isn't just about money in your bank account. It's about positioning you to become the answer to prayers that haven't been prayed yet. Your generosity will rescue grandchildren. Your wisdom will rebuild families. Your overflow will fund ministries that change nations. The enemy saw this coming. That's why he fought so hard. Third, you are not too old, too late, or too forgotten. Moses was 80 when God promoted him. Sarah was 90 when promise became reality. Your age isn't your disqualification, it's your qualification. Every year you've survived has been preparing you for this moment when heaven releases what hell tried to prevent. But here's what I need you to know with absolute certainty. You are not walking this path alone. The same God who parted the Red Sea is parting financial impossibilities for you right now. The same God who multiplied loaves and fishes is multiplying resources you haven't seen yet. He hasn't brought you this far to abandon you at the threshold of your greatest breakthrough. And beyond God's faithfulness, you have a community right here. Thousands of chosen ones just like you, carrying the same calling, fighting the same battles, believing for the same breakthrough. We see you, we understand you, we will pray with you. So let me ask you this. Now that you know the shift is real, now that you understand why hell attacked you so viciously, now that you felt the confirmation trembling in your spirit, what will you do with this moment? Will you dismiss it as just another message, or will you step into the divine appointment heaven orchestrated for you today? Before you go, share your testimony in the comments below. Tell us what God spoke to your heart. Ask for prayer if you need it. And please, share this message with someone who's been under the same financial assault. They need to know they're not crazy, they're not cursed, they're chosen, and their breakthrough is closer than they think. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. This isn't just content, this is a movement of financial freedom for God's remnant. Every week, we're releasing messages specifically designed to encourage, equip, and empower chosen ones like you. Thank you for staying with me through this entire journey. Thank you for opening your heart, for letting these words penetrate the sacred chambers of your soul, for being brave enough to believe that maybe, just maybe, your wealthiest chapter is still ahead of you. Now, before I release you, let me pray over your life with the authority of someone who has walked with God through every season. Heavenly Father, I place my hand on the shoulder of every precious soul hearing these words right now. You see them, Lord, not just their struggle, but their faithfulness, not just their lack, but their generosity, not just their age, but their assignment. God, I pray that you would release every financial blessing that's been held in escrow. Open bank accounts, unlock opportunities, send unexpected checks, bring divine connections that will fund the final chapters of their lives. Break every curse of poverty, silence every voice of limitation, destroy every weapon of financial warfare. Father, give them peace tonight, the kind of peace that surpasses understanding. Let them sleep without anxiety. Let them wake up with hope. Let them know in their spirit that the shift is real, the breakthrough is coming, and their story is far from over. Protect their health, strengthen their bodies, renew their minds. Surround them with people who see their value. Remove every relationship that drains them. Bring divine alignment in every area of their lives. And Lord, let them feel your presence right now. Not just intellectually, but tangibly. Let them know they are loved beyond measure, chosen beyond doubt, and wealthy beyond their wildest imagination, not just in eternity, but starting today. In Jesus' mighty name, I seal this prayer. Amen. You are loved, you are chosen, you are not alone. Now go and walk in the wealth heaven has already released.